This idea of photos, unstructured photos, becoming a powerful source of data, the idea of regular photos mapped against Street View data. You drive in your car, and the cell phone towers, as you go from tower to tower, tells the phone company how to know traffic speeds, for example. So the idea that normal people go about their lives, where humans are instrumented, and there's 6.5 billion people in your sensor network, okay, is a really valuable source of data. That's a really valuable source of privacy concerns, so there's lots of issues there, but still, it's an incredibly valuable source of data. It's worth understanding because that's not a trivial thing. I believe that places, as in like, you know, here's the agenda for today's meeting and here's the location of today's meeting, have they're like duals, and they have equal value. Maybe not if you're a poet, but you know, for most things, it's almost equally valuable. So the Geoweb, the how often do you see a map on the web used to be never, and then yes, if you went to MapQuest, and otherwise never. And then, like now you do a Google search, you always get a little map. So like, it's going to be like half the results are maps. And you have to understand this too. If you have a powerful thing, formerly known as a telephone, now called a mobile internet device, who has one of those? Anybody? Everybody? Almost everybody, okay. Three-quarters of people. More of these will be sold this year, right, that talk to the internet directly than personal computers will be sold this year. More, in about 2 years, more humans will use the internet this way than on a thing wired to or not portable or stuck on a desk or something. Okay, so the meaning of what is the internet when 6 billion people use it will be this. Okay, understand that. And not this one. This is like the Porsche, you know, of those things. But the Chevette of those things will still have the same internet behind it. And that's what the real internet is. If you have an application that uses the internet as a fundamental thinking, and you think it doesn't work on a phone, what are you thinking? You know, you're not thinking at all. I mean, that's what the internet is going to be. So you'd be foolish not to think about that. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you very much. How much time do we have? A few minutes? Okay, so just give me like just. I'll take questions, but I got two little demos. I didn't talk about anything about our products. I'm going to show you two things I'm really, really proud of. I just like, this is something we launched in February. It's called Google Ocean, and that's what we call it. But the official name is Ocean in Google Earth, and I wrote it there so I can remember Ocean in Google Earth. This is Google Earth. It's a screenshot of Google Earth flying over Maui. And you go down to the ocean level now in Google Earth, and you can see the waves, or the synthetic waves. And then as you get closer, the waves get closer and closer, and then if you keep going, you go underwater. So, splash. And we have bathymetry for the entire planet. And in places where there's good data, we have high-res bathymetry. In places where there's no data, we have magnetic sensor data done by NOAA and UCSD, and we just are crying for more data. So we're scouring the ocean for data. If you know any oceanographers with data, please let us Google know, because we can really make this a great place. This is like when we started Keyhole, we had like Landsat in most places and a couple of good places with aerial. And this is what we have now for the ocean. So that's, ocean is now, the Google Earth is now 70% bigger. And this thing we just launched a week ago, and I don't think you have audio. But
by July 1969, NASA was racing to meet President Kennedy's audacious 1961 challenge to land a man on the moon and return him safely.
This isn't a movie.
To
This is
Earth
just
by the end of the decade.
this is all in KML, flying in Google Earth.
Apollo 11 might just be the mission that transformed the moon from a light in the sky into a place where humans had actually walked. For its history-making crew, Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Mike Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin.
So they fly around, they have all these problems, and then
To make history's first lunar landing. Armstrong decided to take partial control from the computer to adjust Eagle's flight path and rate of descent. The lunar module was actually easier to fly than he had expected, but he knew he only had enough fuel for one try at a landing. He steered past the big crater and flew onward, searching for a safe landing spot. Finally, he saw a place that looked good. With just 100 feet to go, Armstrong brought Eagle down for the final descent. His hunt for a new landing spot had eaten into their fuel supply, and that fuel was getting lower by the second. And now he had a new problem. The blast from the descent rocket was kicking up lunar dust, sending it rushing out in all directions in a fast-moving haze that obscured his view. While Aldrin read out the diminishing altitude, Armstrong guided Eagle lower, struggling to keep from drifting sideways or backwards, lest they risk tipping over at touchdown. Now came an ominous warning from Earth. Just 60 seconds of fuel left before they would be forced to abort. Now, only 30 seconds. Finally, a blue light on the instrument panel signaled that one of 3 metal probes attached to Eagle's landing legs had touched the moon. Eagle settled gently onto the surface, and Armstrong shut down the descent rocket. In Houston, it was 3:17 p.m. Armstrong broadcast a message of triumph to Mission Control.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so this is, if you just go to Google Earth, you can click on Moon as one of the planets you go to. You can click on the different Apollo astronauts. We work with them. They recorded their, like, vacation stories of being on the moon. Like, oh, we landed here, and then when the wheel got stuck, and we had to kick it. And, you know, it's very personal storytelling of being on the moon. And we've met, I guess, 5 of the people who have been on the moon. There's 12 people who have been on the moon. We've met 5 of them. And we told them, look, 12 of you, there's 6.5 billion of us, and now 500 million of us can actually go where you went. You know, so that's the end. I wanted you to see that's just KML. So that's like Geoweb, another planet, a simple ASCII file, exportable from Esri, readable by Microsoft, indexable by everybody. You can tell stories like that about places. I always dreamed of like a PowerPoint for the Earth. And I think we're getting closer and closer. You're talking about Arrow yet, but we're getting closer and closer. So